Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Rune Shadowverse Evolve deck here. It's going to be a pretty interesting one. Rune is one of my more favorited classes as far as card games typically go. Rune, Blood, and Haven are typically the three that I quite enjoy. So we'll see what's in this Rune deck, and we may as well get right into it. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I highly recommend watching the one on Forest in particular, because that's where we go over a few of the extra things and how some more of the cards work, sort as well. Whatever unique mechanics pop up, I try and make sure to mention them so that we're just going over the basics of them. So this pack is your playmat, your tokens, your health counter. Pretty straightforward. You want to look at all those, you can go back to my forest video right at the start. It's one of the first things we look at and open up. So, getting into the cards in this deck here. Pretty cool looking so far. Mithril Goblin just kind of looks sick. I think I actually do prefer Spell Chain, but we'll see. We'll see. Daria Spell Chain is a fun deck, even if it can be a little inconsistent. So, we start with the Mithril Golem here. Mithril Golem, obviously it's a 3 of. They always give you 3 ofs for all the foils, which is pretty awesome. Mithril Golem is Fanfare, deal 3 damage to each enemy follower on the field, Spell Chain 7, deal 5 damage instead. Spell Chain, okay, they shortened Spell Chain to SC afterwards, cool. So Spell Chain 15, deal 5 damage to each enemy leader. If you have 7 spells in your cemetery, form Spell Chain 7. Then if you have at least 15 spells, perform Spell Chain 15. So it actually is, it does both. Cool. It says to each enemy, by the way, each enemy leader. Very particular wording, and it's stuff I don't pay enough attention to. It's each enemy leader, because each enemy that is going to be traded for is, it's a card, so deal with it, Alright, the other foil we got, which they are all foil, it's just a little more subtle than I was expecting. Runeblade Summoner. Runeblade Summoner is usually the Storm card, which by the looks of this card it is. So it has Fanfare, Spell Chain 5, it gives this follower +4/+4. Spell Chain 10, give this follower Storm, and then again, it's the same as Golem. Whereas if you have 5 or 5 and 10, you get to do both effects. So you can effectively make a 5/5 Storm follower, which is pretty solid. I actually don't mind that at all. Then we get the Evolve follower, so Demon Flame Mage. It has an Evolve of 1. It's a 3/3 body. This should actually probably be a decent starter deck card. Given that it's a 3/3 on 3 with Evolve, should be pretty good. Then we get to some of our spells. So Insight, draw a card. It's a quick effect, which means we can activate in our opponent's turn, as long as they're attacking or ending. Very nice card. Then we have Fire Chain, quick effect as well. Select up the 2 cards. As 2 enemy followers on the field, deal 3 damage divided between them. Cool, Fire Chain. I've seen them run a lot. Both those cards get ran in Spell Chain decks quite regularly, from what I've seen. Lightning Shooter. So this one's Fanfare. Select an enemy follower on field and deal it 2 damage. Spell Chain 5. Deal 4 damage instead. Spell Chain 10. Deal 2 damage to enemy leaders. Sorry, deal 2 damage to that follower's leader. Okay, so it doesn't hit every leader. It just hits the follower you targeted. Cool. Still pretty cool. I don't mind that. Penguin. I actually really like Penguin, and I'm hoping there's a full playset of Evolve Penguins in here as well. I'm sure there will be. So Penguin is Evolve 1, evolve this follower, but it's got an engage. So when you play it, you tap it. This got a spell for a card. It's Spell Chain setup. And its Evolve does basically the same thing. Literally the same thing. While untapping itself. You could also potentially just swing for 5 with it, which is really funny. Semi the Wizard's Apprentice. This has an Evolve of 2. Fanfare, look at the top card of your deck. You may put it into your cemetery. So another way to just dump cards pretty freely. Windblast is just pretty straightforward. It's a removal card like it's always been. This time instead it uses Spell Chain to determine if it does more damage or not. So if you select any follower, you can deal it 2. Spell Chain 10, deal it 4. Pretty easy. I believe it's... Yeah, I think you get to do both, right? If you have at least 10 Spell Chain Samurai, excluding this card, perform Spell Chain 10. Oh no, you deal 4 instead. So it does say, it does specifically say instead. I just had to make sure I read it correctly. Sorcery cache. Quick, look at the top 4 cards of your deck. You may reveal a spell from among them. Add it to your hand. You can also put the spells in the cemetery. Put the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck. This actually seems okay for a spell chain, because spell chain wants to dump spells. It's also a quick card, so you can play it in your opponent's turn. So you skip like turn 2, you play that in your opponent's end phase or something, just to kind of get yourself set up. Fiery Embrace is another 2 of. You get to select an enemy follower on field and destroy it. Spell chain 10. Deal 3 damage to that follower's leader. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. That's all it does. Magic Missile. Magic Missile is a bit downgraded from the physical, from digital to physical, I think. It's a 3-cost spell to start with. It does go quick, and it does 2 damage and draws a card. So it's got buffed as far as 2 damage, but making it cost more makes it way worse, in my opinion. Conjure Golem. This is pretty straightforward. It's a 1-cost quick. Put a Guardian Golem or Strike Force token into your EX area. Cool. That feels actually pretty decent for a structure deck, like starter deck. Then we have the 2 Healing Angels. This has got Evolve, and it's pretty straightforward. Fanfare, give your leader +1. It's just a generic heal. It's a neutral card after all. Angelic Snipe. We looked at this before in Forest, I believe. Select enemy follower on field, deal 2 damage to it. Pretty solid. And Angelic Barrage. This time it gives you, so it gives you opposite ratios. So this one does the board wipe +1s to everything, and this does the single target 2 damage. But in the Forest deck, they give you the reverse amount of them, which is kind of interesting. Then we have Demon Flame Mages Evolve. So on Evolve, deal 2 damage to each enemy follower on field, so it's basically a board wipe. Oh, don't want to accidentally start stacking my Evolves in the wrong spot. There we go. Penguins, as I mentioned, it lets you just discard, which is really, really good. I like having discard penguins. Discard penguins is cool. Sammy the Wizard. On Evolve, each player draws a card. Not as good because you don't want to give your opponent cards. And Healing Angel, 1 of. They give you the +2 on the Healing Angel for extra healing, so you can heal +3 total. And then, obviously, your 3 going second Evo points. Your Isabel Leader. And then your tokens. So you got, looks like you get 4 Strike Force, draw Guardian. 4 Guardian, 4 Strike Force, which is cool. Very, very nice. So that is the Rune deck. It's a very, very nice looking deck. A lot of these spells, I've seen in like Spell Chain Rune in particular. Very popular in that, I guess. Very solid cards. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to check out the previous 2. There will be another video coming very soon. I'll make sure I'm actually facing the mic when I speak. Another video will be coming very soon, and we're going to be doing the Dragon deck. So the Dragon deck is going to be next if you want to check that out. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.